Morning, Rich. Oh, right. No intro music this time because I've been struggling trying to learn this. I mean, it's not the update that I'm trying to learn. I mean, I've been using stepic for a while, um, but I use it in the most sort of basic way, and it does me, to be honest. So I thought I'll try and learn a little bit more about stepic and especially the new features. So I got a bit distracted last night, so I didn't learn as much as I should have done last night. So here I am. I'm going to be stumbling around, and I've got an hour to give to Rich to try and show him what I'm doing with this thing. Right, okay, so where do we start? Um, there's there's a couple of good videos out there already. There's one been done by Martin Sturzer. I hope I haven't said his name wrong there. But yeah, Martin's done like a 6 or 7 minute long performance using stepic, which is pretty good, obviously. And Chris, or Signs of Life, did a video on the Device Meister YouTube channel, which is worth watching as well. So I'm not going to be doing a deep dive sort of. This is how you use stepic. These are all the awesome features, and this is how you use them, because I just don't know. I know a little bit, obviously. I know a little bit. So let's open up one of my first instances of stepic. Just so that you know. If you don't know what it is, then this is it. It's a step sequencer. It's a software step sequencer. But it's not limited to sequencing soft synths. I use it to sequence my hardware synths. And it looks like there's a lot of tracks here, but really what I try to do is keep various parts of my audio and MIDI elements separate. So if I was to put any sort of, I suppose put a few dividers in here. Morning, Davy. So we could just make this all the Nova. I won't bother picking a colour. Good morning, Martin. Good to see you. Not seen you for a while, I don't think. Well, not in chat anyway. Yeah, good to see you, mate. Yeah. So, oh yeah, sorry. Just let's add a few more dividers in here. So, in case anybody else is coming in, and then I'll explain a little bit more. So this is just a bit of housekeeping. In fact, what I could do is I could just duplicate that. Duplicate track. So I don't need to put a divider on this one, but I want to make so everything to the right of this at the minute will be. Yeah, weekends aren't the best for everybody, are they? And I need to sort of toy around with some other time slots and day slots. Probably do sort of like midweek, evening, rather than Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I mean, people work all week, and then weekends are like, yeah, it's family stuff. So let's get out or whatever, go away for the weekend. And even if you haven't got a family, you might go, well, I'm away. So yeah, totally understand that, of course. So let's make this interesting development here that I decided on last night, actually, which I'll just waffle about while I'm setting these up, is my Novation Nova. So if I go to, which one is it? That one. I've just turned the angle of the camera around a little bit, so it's this thing here. This is a Novation Nova desktop synth. Oh, aye, it's the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend. It sounds pretty wet over there, according to yesterday's Formula One news. But I've not kept up with it, to be honest. But yeah. So this is the Novation Nova. It's a desktop hardware synth. It's an analog modeling synth. It was produced, built, whatever, around about the late I can't remember, to be honest. It was, let's say, the year 2000, give or take a year or so, either side of that. I can't remember exactly when I got it. Although, funnily enough, I was looking at the receipts for it a couple of weeks last week. It was looking through some receipts, trying to find out when I bought the JP 8000. So yeah, and sorry, yeah, the Novation Nova, it can behave like a multi-timbral synth, multi-timbral, if you like. And it's got 6 parts, so it's like, in fact, the preset that I've got selected at the moment is multi-channel 1 to 6. So each one of these is the channels, and if I select on each one of those, it'll tell me what programs I've actually got loaded into those channels. And morning, Keith. No, Rich. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we're past all that now. But yeah, back onto the Novation Nova. I've decided to, because previously to this weekend, I was only ever using one channel because I'm limited on the amount of inputs I've got on my audio devices, which are these two things, these two lights here, Roland Octacapture things. And altogether, I've got 18 inputs, but it's surprising how quickly you use those inputs up. So before I started messing around on Friday, so the 6 channels reserved for the basic modular, although I do have an extra 2 channels dedicated for elements, which goes into a mic preamp, which is then connected directly to the Octacapture units. So that's a total of 8 modular channels, and I feel that I need those, although at the moment the West Pest is taking up at least one of those. But anyway, count that in with the modular. So 8 channels of modular. And then I don't use stereo outputs for me keys. So there's one for the JP8000, one for the OB12, one for the Mini Brute, one for the Novation Nova, 2 for the Elasis DM5, which isn't on because I hardly ever use it. It's a drum machine. And then I have, again, something that I don't put on often enough. It's a Lexicon MPX 500, which is a multi-effects unit. I sometimes put that on for some. It's got a nice reverb preset loaded up at the minute by default. So how many is that? So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I've missed one somewhere. Well, what a plunker. So it's, so I should have 18. So there's one gone. Have I got an extra one? Have I got another one somewhere? Have I not counted those up right. So it's 8 for the modular. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 at the minute with the Novation Nova, because that's gone to 2. I'll explain why in a minute. So that's I've lost count again. 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes, well, I'll have to have a look at that. But anyway, what I was doing, or what I tried to do, was introduce my Korg 05RW little sort of general MIDI thing into my system a couple of months ago, and I spent a couple of hours one day last week auditioning the sounds, and I just don't like it. So the Korg 05RW is being retired again. Going to get stuck in a little corner somewhere. And I thought, well, I'll use the extra channel for another output from my Novation Nova. So that's why I've got 2 now. So yeah, okay. None of that's working yet. I haven't got anything set up here at all. So back on here. This is why I've got these sort of lots of. So you see, I've got no. Oh, let's go back to Reaper. Heyo, hey Gaz. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I've got Nova 1 audio, Nova 1 MIDI, Nova 1 program, Nova 1 CC, and then I've got Nova 2 Aud, Nova 2 MIDI, Nova 2 program, Nova 2 CC. So what I like to do is I like to have separate tracks for various functions. So obviously the audio is just for the audio. Let's duplicate that a second. Duplicate tracks, put that down there. Like that too. And then let's have another divider. Insert track from template. I'll do a one they've already got coloured up for effects. So there's my 2 effects for the minute. And I don't know. Yeah, not important. It's not worth explaining about the effects for a minute. I use software effects, so hardware sound sources at the moment, and then software effects. Partly because it's easier, partly because I just don't have any decent effects. The MPX 500 is nice for reverb, but I don't like the delay on it. And then I've run out of inputs anyway on the Octocapture. Yeah, Keith, I've got 2 outputs on the JP8000 and the OB12. They've both got 2 outputs, and you can either use them in stereo mode, because obviously you've got stereo effects or stereo. You can do panning via MIDI or wherever. So I could, if I had the room on my inputs, I would use the stereo outputs, and not only the stereo outputs, but what you can also do on both the 2 old keyboards is you can go multi-timbral again, multi-channel. So I could do loads of so I could have 2 audio sources from that one, 2 audio sources from that one, 6 audio sources from my Novation if I wanted to. Obviously, you lose when you start to use these devices in multi-channel mode. Then you do start to run into trouble with note stealing, because they only have so many notes available. God, my elbow's killing me. Can't even hold it out at the minute. Yeah, so that is the reason why I'm only using the left or the mono output of all my keyboards, apart from now the Novation Nova, which I'm using too. So yeah. What next? What was I doing? I've got my window open. I'll have to close the window. Yeah, I knew what you went, Keith. Yeah. Uh, um. Yeah. Lorry or truck or something, van outside. Um. So carrying on. Not made a sound yet, have we? Not made a sound. Um. So I've split up. I've kind of tidied this up a little bit. So I've got my Nova full section. So I've got all these channels here and Nova. So from there to there, let's go back to Reaper. So all these channels that I've set, these are all in Nova. So I have one channel which selects the performance, and if I go to that track up here, so I've got a little tiny MIDI clip which just selects the correct. So number 126 is the multi-channel Novation Nova thing. And to be honest, once I've actually started to set, if I'm looping something, I will generally, because it's already chosen the performance, I'll mute that, or I could mute the clip. It's like the Novation 1 program and even the Novation 2 program. They've kind of done the job. So while I'm looping a piece, so it doesn't keep selecting that that program once it loops round, I can mute those. And then on the actual multi-channel sections, I have an audio in, so the audio in for the 1 and 2. The Nova MIDI is generally where I put any MIDI clips in Reaper, or as you can see at the moment, I've got instances of stepic on those 2 MIDI channels. The Nova 2 Pro. Am I still here? I've just got a message on my screen that OBS had disconnected. I don't know whether we're back. Not sure how that looks on YouTube, to be honest. I think we're okay. It's a 30-second delay usually, isn't there, on between OBS and YouTube, or between me. So give us a thumbs up. Am I still here? I think I'm still online. Anyway, assuming that I am, and OBS tells me that I'm all green at the minute. So, what was I saying? Lost me track again. Yeah, so the MIDI CC, if I go to, let's shut that down a minute. If I go to the track view, so I've opened up a load. So I mean, these are automation lanes, and what they do effectively is, and I'm not talking about stepic yet, so apologies for that. I'll have to put some chapters in when I go back over this. Yeah, so although I might select a program that's near where I want, I tweak stuff by putting in automation lanes, and I've created these. Hey up, Chris. I've created these little JS effects, which are just purely sliders. So each one of these is a set of sliders, and I've broken it up into sections just because I think, well, initially I copied this from an existing JSFX plugin, which had 16 sliders in it. So I just split up the various sections into a number of different things, JSFX things. So that's that. So that's what the MIDI CC thing is. So stepic. Let's go back to stepic then. So this is stepic, and Excuse me, I'll be jumping around a little bit here. So bear with me. I've got a number of patterns here already stored in this particular instance of stepic. And this is the pattern section here at the top, top right. The fact that the yellow, got a yellow box around them, that means that there's something stored in there. So you can see there's a slight difference between each pattern. And the way I've set my stall out for this project at the minute, and it may well be my default modus operandi in the future, my first pattern will be an empty pattern. There might be another way of doing that. I mean, well, I generally record a sequence actually from the beginning of if I've got a 10-minute track, I'll record 10 minutes of sequencing. But what I intend to do in the future is just start off with an empty pattern. And yeah, so to Davy's saying MIDI can now change patterns. I heard, yeah, well, MIDI. It was already possible to change patterns with MIDI, but you would use a MIDI CC, not a or the automation lanes rather than a MIDI note. So what one of the new upgrades or the is that the right word? In the latest update, you can use notes to change the pattern. Now, so previously, what I would have to do is go to the channel that's got stepic on, then go here. So that's this one here. If I click on the envelope button here, so this little group here, these are the what's the word for it? The controls. So, hello, Mibelux. Don't think I've seen you before. Good to see you. Oh, wait a minute. I think have you subscribed to me? I think I remember now, actually. Yeah, I think I subbed back as well. Good to see you here. Yeah. So these are so back to Davy. These are the controls that are visible from stepic, and there's not a lot. In fact, there's only really pattern. You wouldn't normally change these. I mean, you could do the bypass or the wet. Not too sure what delta is. The internal one, I've got no idea what that does, to be honest. So the only real one that I would use to change the pattern is this one here. So if you note at the minute, I've just added a lane in for the pattern. So if I just close that a second and then just open that up a little bit there. If I now drag that automation line up, you'll notice that the patterns will change. So let's just do that now so you can see. So that's now changing the patterns. So this was available before the update, and so what I would have to do is I'd have to select on one of the points and then make sure that it was envelope default, so default shape, make it square, and then I would have to oh, I see, that's because, wait a minute, I thought it had, this is me not default point shape. Okay, set point shape, that should have been set to square as well. There you go, sorry. Yeah, so with the shape set to square, you would then, as you are playing, it would so there it would be playing pattern 2, and then there it would then jump to pattern 3, and there it would jump to pattern 5, etc. Morning, Luke. That's okay, yeah. I know you've explained you're doing your own business this morning, so but thanks for stopping in to say hi. And have a good time doing your own stuff. Right. Yeah, so this is okay. This worked, but I'm now thinking, now that we can change via MIDI notes, this is sounding a lot. Okay, mate. This is a lot. MIDI notes are going to be a lot easier than envelopes. I think anyway. So let's clear that envelope. And instead, well, so okay, wind back a little bit. You can change the patterns as we just discussed with the MIDI notes, and what you've got to do is you've got to go to this button here, and there is a help file, the help PDF or instructions for stepic. Not sure if there's one for 1.5, although if you already had an earlier version, then you've got the earlier version manual, and then the 1.5 version comes with the update, a rundown of the updates. But if you don't want to bother opening that, if you just hover your mouse over each of these buttons, a little bit of help text. You probably can't see it on the because I'm on a 2K monitor. But in the bottom left of stepic, the stepic interface, you can see. I wonder if I could make this a bit bigger. Current zoom factor 126, make that 150. Not sure that it actually increased the height of the text, but there you go. So at least it'll be a little bit bigger on YouTube now. Yeah, so yeah, if you hover your mouse over each one of these buttons, it'll tell you what each of the buttons does, or knobs or whatever, which is quite handy. Anyway, so back to MIDI note. Let's get this sorted out, put to bed. It's quite a simple one. So what I've done at the minute, I have mapped these notes here to select the patterns. So if I hit, that's on my current keyboard. I've got this set up right, because I've learnt a little bit about my my reassuringly cheap MIDI controller. You can't see it at the minute. I'm not sure whether it'll even pick it up on the cameras. Let's look at that one. No, not really. So I'd have to bring my webcam down. So yeah, it's an Acorn Master Key 49 keyboard MIDI controller. It cost me about 50 quid. So yeah, very, very budget, but it does what I need it to do, I think. And in fact, I hit the manual this morning because I've now worked out because what I would do beforehand, again, I work in very simple ways more often than not. I don't get to learn my stuff in depth, which is a bit daft, but there you go. Oh, well, up. Yeah, thanks for dropping in. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, so I've now found out, after all this, I've had this for years, and I've just found out this morning how I can change its MIDI channel. Because before now, I would just go to Reaper. Let's close that a second, close that. So if I go to Reaper and go to my input, usually I would just select my controller and all channels. But now I'm thinking, well, I need to be able to select MIDI channel 1 for Nova part 1, and then MIDI channel 2 for Nova part 2. There you go. So what I've had to learn this morning is how I can change the MIDI channel out of the master key, which I have now done. I'm going to say the full name. It just takes a long time. Thank you for tuning in. I sing the Body Electric. I'll wheedle out of a first name out of you at some point, because I suppose I could just say ISTBE. It's even longer than my name, Synchrotron. Not as long as I'm Andy, by the way, in case you didn't know. That's nice and short. So where was I? Back to stepic. This one here. So on the Nova one, and I've got my MIDI channel set to 1 at the minute on my little master key. So if I now press one of my other note keys, you can see the MIDI patterns being selected. Yeah. So that's one thing. I sing, yeah. You don't. Yeah, I sing. Okay, we'll do that. Yeah, so let's play this. And I'm not particularly impressed with this thing I've got going at the minute. I started to obviously knock up a little bit of a set of patterns, and it kind of grows as we go up the patterns. So let's go through this in a minute. So start the project, and I think, yeah, so I should have double checked that some of the other instance of stepic over here. Oh, now that's interesting. So when I've changed the scale of one instance of stepic, it's changed it for the other, for all instances. So yeah, I've only got on my Nova 2 output or part, I've only got 2 patterns going at the minute, and this is on MIDI channel 2. I know I should have checked, it's off at the minute. So yeah, pattern 1, like the other one, pattern 1 is blank, so there's nothing doing. So even though the project's playing, you can't hear anything because there's no notes being selected. So let's go to pattern 2. So like I said, this is a step sequencer does not make a Berlin school pattern. I think it takes a little bit more than just having a step sequencer. So I'm just demonstrating here that I can now choose which pattern to play by hitting my keys. And what I'm going to ask the Device Meister chap actually is, there's a feature I would like to see implemented whereby if I press, or if I select another MIDI pattern, another pattern, that it waits until it gets to the first step in the sequence before it selects the pattern. And if anyone is familiar with the BeatStep Pro, that's how you can set up the BeatStep Pro. So just to explain a little bit more in detail, so let's say I'm on pattern 2 now at the moment. The way stepic works at the minute, as far as I'm aware, is it will change the pattern straight away. So you notice on pattern 2, we go to pattern 3. I'll go to pattern 3 in the middle of the sequence. So it's changed to pattern 4 straight away. I should have gone to 3, didn't I? But there you go. But that sort of demonstrates it anyway. It changes the pattern mid-pattern. What I would like to do is say, well, I want pattern 4 to play next, but I'm gonna hit the note now mid pattern, but I don't want it to change the pattern until it gets to step 1. So, all right, okay, you've asked for that, have you? Right, I didn't notice that on the Discord. Yeah, I've not had a chance yet, so I'll have a look at what you've posted over on the Discord, assuming that's where you've asked it. Maybe looks. Yeah, so that MIDI mapping thing, pattern selection via MIDI, that's quite simple. That so we can go up to MIDI, up to pattern 8. I could go up to 16, but I've not saved them yet. And yeah, it's getting a bit busy now. So let's go back to say that one. Yeah. Now, okay, cheers for that. So I'll have a look later. So if I change the MIDI output on my little controller keyboard, I can then select that next pattern, or pattern 2. Why is that not playing? He says. So that should have selected another. Oh yeah, okay, right, okay, I've got that. Let's stop the project a sec. I had, right. This is where it gets a bit complicated and I jump around a little bit. And for anybody that's just joined, I'll explain again. This is not an instructional video on stepic. It's just an old git bumping along, trying to suss out bits and pieces myself today. So I got it yesterday. I had a bit of a chance to play on it last night, but I didn't spend enough time on it really. So yeah, sorry if I'm looking a little bit disjointed and crap. But that's why I'm not a power user. Yeah, so on this instance of stepic, I just remembered that I'd left latching mode, and I think that causes a problem. I'm not saying it's, well, it seems to cause a problem when I'm trying to change pattern. Because if you notice, let's go back to, let's just change the other one to pattern. So I've just changed the first instance of stepic to pattern 1, which is blank, and so they should both be blank now. Why isn't that? That is strange. That we have a technical problem. It's not muted. It should be. And it's so I'm pressing me. In fact, you can see on Reaper, you see a little yellow line that pops up. Why is that not changing the pattern? And I'm wondering whether it's because of that latching mode. So as part of the MIDI plate, which I've not touched yet, I've not mentioned that yet, there is a note latch. So let's just turn that off a second. No, what's happening? Oh, I know why. I know why now. What a plonker. Yeah. And I asked this literally just, what, within the last hour on the Discord. What I didn't get or understand was, so on my first instance of stepic here, if I go to my MIDI map section, I have set up a number of maps. So note C1 changes to pattern 1, C sharp 1 to pattern 2, etc. And I thought I could save as defaults and then go to another instance of stepic and then load it. But when you go load defaults, it wants to reset the mapping to the default. In other words, blank. I think it's blank. I suppose I could just try. Oh, there you go. Well, right. I'm understanding now. I understand. Right, I do understand. So what device master? I don't know what his first name is. But the device master guy, Mr. Stepic. Let's call him Mr. Stepic. He explained that the save as defaults, it saves it into the database, into a single database for Stepic, and then loading the defaults. Right, I get it now. So when you do the save as default, it creates a new global default mapping for the whole of Stepic. So no matter how many instances you put up, so let's say I create another, let's put another instance of Stepic here. And if I go to, I think actually if I go to map now, all right, so every time you put a new instance of Stepic up, okay, because I've already saved them as defaults, it will open up the defaults. So yeah, I'm fully understanding this now, and it makes sense. It would have been, I was thinking, you know, if you like any, excuse me, getting tangled up in my headphone cable and mic cable. Yeah, so whereas on some software you would go save as defaults and it would allow you to save a file, and then loading the defaults, it would load up a file. That's not the way this works. It's just a single database, and as long as you know that's how it works, then it's that's fine. So, because at first, when he explained that to me on Discord this morning, I thought, let's just delete that. I thought I would have to have still remapped all these mappings, but I don't. And in fact, what I could do is I could just go, so where's, that's G1. I could pattern 9, so map, there you go, map another one, and so on. Like that. Another one. So let's just do 12. So now I can save that as the default, and it just says saved. So now I can go back to my other instance of Stepic, go to mapping, which currently only sees up to pattern 8, but now I can go load defaults, yes, and it brings in those other mappings. So yeah, I'm pretty cool with that now. Yeah, I agree, Mibuluxis. It would be nice to be able to save it to a file, because at the moment, just the way I've got my little keyboard set up, I'm happy with choosing just C note. Sorry, C1 as my lowest note. I'm not playing the keyboard full range. I noticed that when Signs did this yesterday, he went right down to the zeros. So that's like stuff like, well, you know, bass or whatever that perhaps you're not going to use on a sequence. But I've only got a 49 key keyboard, so I'm kind of starting off at C1, which is the lowest note on the keyboard. But yeah, that's. Sorry, yeah. So what I was saying was, that's right. I'm almost losing track again there. Not almost. I did lose track. What I would like to be able to do is to save it as a file, so that I can set it up so that I can use lower notes to change the pattern, to select the pattern. Because what I'll probably do in the future as well is, I mean, at the moment I'm selecting the patterns directly off the keyboard. So if we go back to MIDI channel 1 on here, so I can use the keyboard to change the pattern. Fine, that's not a problem. But what I will probably do when I start composing stuff and making fleshing projects out, I will add a so let's say I just add a item. Insert new MIDI item. Oh. Why did it do that? I thought I had that selected. Just put it on a new track. Anyway, so now I've got, in fact, I can open up the piano roll. There you go, there's piano roll. And what I'm thinking will happen now, if I go back to that instance of stepic, let's just check this out. So I'm wondering whether when I press a key, so to keep your eye on the pattern. So C1. So if I go, oh no, it's not. Maybe I just need to add a note. No, it's not doing it, is it? Oh, well, that's interesting. And it may be that maybe I should set this to none or turn off record. Let's try that now. No. All right. I've put it on the right channel, haven't I? Nova 1 MIDI. Nova 1 MIDI. Yeah. Well, that is interesting. Because I thought I could put a note. Oh, I thought I'd put a... that's why, you Wally. I thought I'd put a note there. There it is, you... But it's not actually sending the MIDI out, is it? So if I just move that up to that one there, does that select? No, it's not, is it? So I need to... All right, that's something I've got to get into, because what I don't want to be doing is always relying on my keyboard to select a pattern. I want to be able to select a pattern via notes on the piano roll. And I'm just wondering why it doesn't do that. Unless, let's just double check. Let's go back to event list. So it says channel 1 there. I don't know, Davy. It's just, I don't know. It's just not behaving as I thought it would. So I need to ask. I need to ask over on the Discord. What am I getting wrong there? And it's usually just operator error, to be honest. So at the moment, that won't change the pattern. So I've got to arm the record. So that's, yeah, that. I don't. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible, isn't it? Might not be C1. Let's just try that. So let's go up the scale here. Oh, there you go. Well, that's a bit naff, innit? Yeah. So good call at Miblux. Yeah. C1 isn't C1. Would you believe it? So you can. And I'm assuming that it'll still do it on the keyboard as well. Yeah, right, okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That saves raising the question. I wonder why that is, Davy. I mean, I know there's different standards for what C1 is or C0 or whatever, but I thought the Reaper keyboard was okay for that, but obviously not. Yeah. I don't know. Weird. Because if I hit C1 on my keyboard, you'll see it. There you go. So you can see that little green. They're the keys that I'm hitting. Yeah. So that is C1 on my MIDI keyboard, but it's not C1 on there. I don't understand. I suppose I could look at the various. I could look it up on Google, but I'm not going to waste my time with that. It is what it is for the minute. So let's get rid of that anyway. So for the moment, I'll just change with the. I'll change it by hand. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, one of the. I don't know whether ever anyone's seen the Martin Sturzer video, but the way this could pan out for me as an individual is that maybe I could do like a live performance using stepic, using MIDI controllers and stuff like that. Where I fall down is I go into panic mode, and so it all goes out the window, and I'm selecting the wrong patterns. So yeah, I've got to. If I do that, it's something I'll have to rehearse and yeah, nail down. Yeah, I think you're right. Mibalux, yeah, Yamaha. Yeah, I was going to say that. But well, certainly on the because it does. I think it mentions it on a Wikipedia page that I use sometimes for note names and numbers. Hey up, Klaus M. Good to see you. Stepic, yes, Stepic. If you've only just joined, yeah, you'll have to hit rewind, I guess. Although I do repeat myself a lot. And as I've said earlier, this isn't an instructional. It's just me trying to understand what is going on. But moving on then. Moving on. Let's select pattern 2 and we'll just play that for a second. What on earth is that? And that's because... Oh, wait a minute. Let's go to that one there. Why is that C3? Oh, wait a minute. Ah, yes. Ah, well, that's interesting. Let's stop that right there. Right. I wonder. No, it can't have been. It can't have been. So I don't know what's going on there, because I originally set that up to be natural minor, G sharp, natural minor. So I don't know why that's changed. Can't have been anything to do with the load defaults. So I don't understand what happened there. And anyway, no, that's right, yeah. So that should be. So I've only got. I'm waffling. Yeah, right. There you go. That should be back to normal now. I don't know what happened there. And in fact, let's go back to that. So I'm just practicing here. So I've got my keyboard set up. Are they racing yet, Rich? A bit early, isn't it? 11 o'clock. Is it warm-ups? Formula One. Yeah, so I've set up my keyboard controller at the minute so that the plus and minus buttons select the MIDI channel. So yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, so okay. I thought, right, okay, with that, Rich. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Christian over on the on our Synthera Discord was talking about Catalyst a lot. I've not had a look at it yet, to be honest with you. One sequencer at a time. I've also got a stock ass, but once I've bought Stepic, I found that I just don't want to use stock ass anymore. Oh, pardon me. I don't want to use stock ass anymore. It's a good sequencer and it's free, and it'll do stuff that Stepic won't do. But I tend not to bother with using Stochast anymore. If I was using another sequencer, I'd rather use the Beat Step or the Metropolis for sequencing duties. So it'd either be stepic, Beat Step, or Metropolis at the moment. Because I like the HY sequences as well. I like the HY. The name pops into my head and it goes back out again. Yeah, okay, it's gone. HY sequences, yeah, he makes good sequences as well. Anyway, so what I need to do now is, in fact, let's go to. I'm going to explain what MIDI play is. So this is another update. What comes with update 1.5 is this MIDI play, and again, I would always refer you back to the other videos. But basically, what this allows you to do is use your keyboard to transpose the current step pattern, the current pattern, should I say? And you've got these options to set how MIDI play works. So I have it set sync to host. I suppose note 1 is it waits until a note is played. So I don't know whether that'll oh, there you go. Right. So if I go to pattern at 2, and that's good because I've already mapped the lower notes to change the pattern. It doesn't want to start playing the sequence. But anyway, so I suppose this is more if you want to play live. And I've set MIDI play now. That first setting is to note on, so that when I press a note now, it starts playing. Except, why isn't it play? Yeah. I'm just crap. Oh, I know why. It's because, right, it's a long story, and I won't explain because it just sounds completely daft. Except that you can just about see that that ramp up there. It's the way the automation lanes alter the various parameters on my hardware synths. You've got to actually have a change. If I just have it just as a straight line, it doesn't always change the parameter. So that's why it wasn't playing then, because it was the cutoff frequency was right down at 0. But now that I've advanced the playhead to bar 1, so now when I press G#3, which should be that note, it'll just play the pattern. Which it does. Okay. I can still change a pattern, so let's go to pattern 3. So that's pattern 3. Let's go to pattern 4. So at the moment, you can't see, but I've got my finger on. I need to get a downward looking camera, I suppose, on me now that I'm doing keyboard controller stuff. So at the moment, my right hand finger is holding down a G#3 note, which is the actual root of the current root of the actual stepic instance. If I then press another note, it transposes it in a certain way. But before I do that, and so I don't have to keep that note held down, there is a latch mode. Oh, wait a minute, what's this? Right, hold on a sec. So if I just Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't notice that. When you select note on, it then asks you for a quotation, a quantization mode. So you've got an option either off or on beat. Personally, I think on beat would be the best for me. Now, note latch, if I turn that to on, so basically, as you can imagine, it latches the note that you press. And you'll notice next to the MIDI play, an extra little yellow box will crop up. So if I press like that, so I've pressed G#3 on my controller keyboard, and now there's a release latch button appeared, and it basically releases all the currently. So if I hover over that and then look down the bottom left of the stepic interface, it releases all currently latched notes. So if I press that now, it stops playing the sequence. There might be, I don't know whether there might be a keyboard shortcut for that. I'm not sure. Let's start that off again. All right. I imagine there may well be a way to use a keyboard or even your computer keyboard to stop the latch without having to go to your mouse and hit release latch. So that'd be interesting to have a look at a little bit more deeply. But anyway, so I'm there now, and it's playing the Hiya Dave. Yeah, so it's playing the sequence as you can see it. Now if I press another note now, so let's say A sharp, so it transposes it up. And at this point, then I should explain, perhaps, that you can transpose. Well, let's ignore the note in mode. You've got off, transpose, arpeggiator, and chord play. At the moment, I've only just looked at transpose. I suppose the other ones are self-explanatory, but for now, I'm just using transpose. And then you've got the note in scale transform, and you've got chromatic, ignore off scale, or to nearest. So when it's set to nearest, I can basically hit any key on the keyboard, even out of key, and it will just select the nearest note to that note that I've just pressed that is in key, because it's in a natural minor at the minute. I suppose if it's, let's make that natural pentatonic minor. Sorry. Oh, that's right. Okay. So I'm just randomly hitting notes here. Let's put that back to natural minor. So right, okay. Yeah. I've stalled. There is what else am I missing on here? Okay, so you've got a transpose mode. You can either go to the highest or the latest. So I've looked at the manual and I can't remember what that means. So I'll leave it on latest. I think it's something to do with, so of the notes that you press, it goes to the highest note up from the one that you've pressed. If it's out of scale, it goes to the highest one. I think that's what it means. So whereas if you select latest, it will select the one that you last pressed that was in scale. Yeah, something like that. But if I turn, let's turn latch off. I suppose if you were doing some kind of live performance, in fact, let's just turn sync to host. So now, when I start, so where this is kind of interesting, I guess, from a live point of view, is that you can just randomly go, well, let's just go up a little bit. Sometimes it works. That didn't work for me, that. Perhaps too high. So you can have your sequence running, just the basic sequence, and then you can hit a note to transpose it up. But not for the whole, so you haven't got to do the whole steps, you can just have it randomly picking. I think you've got to choose, you've got to choose your notes carefully, I think, and your scale for this to work in a nice way, I think. So at the moment, I've not got a particularly interest in or a particularly appropriate sequence. So I'm not really liking it. Maybe that perhaps I just change up one step and probably go down half a step. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, personally, let's change to that simpler pattern. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out for me yet. Just faffing around, trying to find a. That sounds terrible, that, doesn't it? Hey up, well. It's a God morning. That just sounds wrong. Why? Is it? It's not still transposing, is it? So I tell you what, I mean, I've been at this for an hour now, and I've not done very well at all, have I? I should look at the other modes, but I need to delve into what they are, really, like the chords. I've never used stepic for chord mode, so I'm not even sure what they do. I suppose let's just try. Let's stop this a sec. Let's change MIDI play to note on, and then we set the note in mode to arpeggiator. So what I think this does is it allows you to play keys on the keyboard, and it will arpeggiate them, but it only uses notes that you've selected in your particular step. I think that's the way it works. So if I just press, what on earth is? Why is that? Why does that sound so out? I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's put that up there. There even. I just don't know why that's. Shut up. Shut up, Andrew. It's as though something's been transposed, and but it can't have done, surely. So I'm not in. Right, I'm missing just one. In fact, actually, I suppose I could bring up. Let's tell you what. Let's add a. Would it be useful to add in back in a MIDI item? Insert new MIDI item. I was thinking of a way that I can show you which keys I'm hitting. So does this show you which keys I'm hitting? It should do. There you go. So it's like a view on my keyboard of a fashion. I don't know if you can see that. That's what I could do as well. Is I could make that. I could zoom in a bit as well. There you go. And I think that'll drag over a bit, will it? It should do. There you go. Oh no. Why can't I make that piano? Yeah, I've only been using Reaper for about 4 years. Anyway, the thing is, we can see nice big fat green notes there now. So I'm in arpeggiator mode. Probably a better sequence, better pattern. I'm not happy with this pattern at all at the minute. Maybe it's because I'm not playing that first. Let's just select that 4, yeah, okay. Bear with me. So, arpeggiator mode. Right, yeah, okay. I need to be up here. There you go. So you should be able to see what notes I'm hitting. There you go. Let's just scroll that down a little bit, because I'm not going to go down. There you go. So at the moment, that's just one note held down. So let's hold down a second note. Okay. Let's hold down another note. Let's hold down. Okay, interesting. I suppose. Let's, in fact, let's bring that up again. Let's turn that off. And I'll insert on there another instance of stepic, brand new instance of stepic. And we'll leave that on MIDI play, so we'll go note on, note latch off. Yeah, leave the note latch off for a minute, and then we'll put it on arpeggiator. We'll go to nearest. And yeah, that should be okay. Now, so we're in C major at the minute, but let's make it C major. So that's just one note. Let's go back to the, let's bring that up again over here. Yeah, so just so you can see what notes I'm hitting. Okay. So an octave apart. Run out of octave. Okay, so that's with just everything set to C. So let's mess around with this sequence a second. I'm just randomly changing a few notes. If I just hit C. And in fact, let's make this a little bit simpler. Let's go down to 8 notes. I didn't have to change those, but I have anyway. Oh right, okay, yeah, I've got to put that on 8 as well. I thought changing that changed it for everything, but it doesn't, does it? If I just change that up to C. Oh no. Oh, that's interesting. So so this root note, I mean, what if I change it to oh, that's changed though. Oh yeah, so it's finding the nearest, right? Okay. It was ignoring those because it was just finding the it was trying to find the nearest note in that scale. That's why nothing was happening. Right, okay. So if I change that to, say, G, for example. Oh. Alright. There's something else I don't quite understand there. So even though I'm holding C down, and I've changed the root note to G, so it should be playing Gs. And if I play this sequence, alright, okay, let's just put that back to synth to host. So it plays Gs now. Alright, okay. So yeah, little things are starting to click. I'm not entirely sure this is how I would use stepic. Like I said, I'm not really that good at live stuff. So let's put that back to note on. And we'll put that back to C for what it's worth. C4. No, doesn't matter what that's on, does it? It's funny how it changes some notes. But anyway, so that's just holding C4 down. And I've only got one. Let's make that a bit more obvious. And in fact, let's get rid of that delay. At least turn it down anyway. Oh, we've only got 100. Oh, no, it's there, yeah. It's timeless. Let's turn that mix down a little bit. Or even just turn it off. So no delay now. Just a bit of reverb. Stepic and so if I hit another note. So you can see the notes that I'm pressing here. Let's try it on a latch. So I've just latched a C and a G there. Ah, right, okay. Ah. Not fully understanding then because I've only got 2 notes playing, but when it lands on, let's turn this, let's make it 1/8 note. Alright, okay, and it may be that I've just not. So we've got arpeggiator, up, down, the pendulum, random, yeah, okay. So I mean, you can get, as well as, you know, as if there isn't enough randomness, we can now get even more randomness. But let's just leave that on up for the minute. So where it's just all C, it's going C, G, C, G, where the notes are C, but when you get to the E note on step 5, it plays the E. Yeah. Interesting. So if I then bring in another, so a third note, so I think what it's not immediately intuitive to me what notes to expect, which for somebody who does a lot of random stuff, I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'm not fully understanding how this arpeggiator works when you've got more than 2 or 3 notes selected and you've got a couple of different notes played in your steps. I mean, if they were all just C's, that's a straightforward arpeggio, and you could make it the usual pendulum up, down. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So the order that you pick the notes. Yeah. Okay, I understand that. Let's make it up, down. Okay, so the octaves still work. Oh, interesting. Oh. Ah, right, okay. So let's just pick one note. You're right, Debbie, yeah. And that's because I've got the up-down thing going on. Let's put this back to just up. So it's only playing the octave note every 16th, isn't it? Every 16th note. Alright. So let's choose, let's just say we'll do that. Oh, that's why. Oh, God, I forgot. I should have made that 8 the same as that. What a wally. So yeah, you've got to, I don't know, you've got to be careful. You've got to know what you're doing basically, and remember, and don't be a bumbling old git like me. So that's why I was only playing the octave every 16th note, because I had this on 16 steps. Yeah, you can set the number of steps different for each section, and it works really well. And these other sections down here, so you've got duration, velocity, swing, etc. You can have this set to say 12 steps for velocity, but if you go back to duration, it's still 16 steps. So yeah, it leads to some really good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe looks. Yeah. So let me just stop there a sec, and then let's go. Oh, right, I see. Right. So when you stop, was the door playing then? Have we got it on? I can't remember now. So if I press. There you go. I think one of my problems is, as an individual, is I'm just not very good live. I think if you're good at performing live, then this is going to be perfect. My problem is I don't hit the notes at exactly the right time. This has always been a problem with me in arpeggiators. I always miss a note somewhere, or don't hit it exactly the right time. So, but it's interesting that. So at the moment I've got 2 notes going. So let's add a third. Let's just go. Okay. Yeah. I've not got any of the glitch machine stuff. Davy. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It just adds another level of variation, I suppose, doesn't it? And if you are into your live, then it can get quite interesting on the keyboard as well. And if you wanted to commit this to MIDI, you can use this thing here, this widget, which drags and drops the notes that are being played into your DAW, and I believe, although I've not tried it, I believe you can you use the arpeggiation mode, and wherever you've got your MIDI play set to, so while you're holding the keys down, you can then drag and drop that onto your into your DAW as well. So I've not really tried that. So not sure what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay, I guess. It's not something I've used a lot, to be honest. I tend to use a lot of random stuff, and then I do it the long way around. I just oh, hiya, Dan. Yeah, good to see you. Dan's just getting his own little system set up for live streaming. It's coming along nicely. Yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, I tend not to use the drag and drop. I will do it the long way and record the stepic MIDI output to a MIDI item in Reaper. So yeah, well, 90 minutes. I've been, you know, and there's not. I've not even got anything that's listenable, really. Let's get rid of that one anyway. I don't want that. Oops. Alt. Click on that one. Let's bring that one back in. I mean, I was hoping to have some sort of like a project going on, but it's just not turned out that way today for some reason. Why isn't that playing? Because it. Oh. Yeah, I've just got another dropout. Again, I don't know whether it's dropping out. Is it obviously dropping out on YouTube? I keep getting these little notifications saying that OBS has stopped working, and then it reconnects. So I don't know how that's affecting the YouTube stream. Maybe YouTube's set up so that it can do that and not, you know, you just get a slight glitch there instead of just losing the stream altogether. But yeah, right, okay. So synth to host, note latch. Yeah, I'm not bothered about latching notes at the minute because at the moment, and in fact, that should be just transpose if I do it. And I guess if I was recording let's say I was doing this as a live set, I could record the MIDI as I'm playing the MIDI notes. So as I'm playing a... Oh, I'll tell you what, I wonder if... that just doesn't sound right at all. I tell you, this is all gone a bit pear-shaped. Because that's the most goddamn awful sequence I've ever heard in my life. I could just reset that to nothing. Oh yeah. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. That was better than it first was. Yeah, that's right, Davy. I've seen that. What I'll say about these videos that people make, whether it's Chris or whoever, I find I will never be the next Martin Sturzer. Klaus, let's just get that out of the way for a start off. These sometimes I find these instructional videos, they're just too short, like 15 minutes, going over a load of options, and it's just too short for me. I need to take it a little bit slower. Or going back, and then you're constantly going back, rewinding, going back and stopping and put, yeah, they're far out, Davy. I'm more like far in. Yeah, I sing, yeah. Possibly, I'll try and get onto Ranzy's stream. I've got to finish this stream at 12 o'clock myself, to be honest, because I've got to go out and feed my youngest lad's cat, Mittens, at 12. So I'm just doing a 2-hour only a short 2-hour live stream today. So yeah, either one or the two, I sing. Yeah, definitely be there, one of them or the other, or maybe even both. I'll see how feeding the cat goes and what other things I've got to do this afternoon. Yeah, I feel like retiring, Klaus, sometimes, but yeah. Need the money to feed the habit. This is the best sequence yet. But you know, I'll be honest, and this is no reflection on the software. This is more to do with me. Mittens, I tell you what, he's a little bugger. Yeah, he drew blood one day. So yeah, got to be careful around Mittens. He likes his claws out scraps. Right. Yeah, I've seen that one too, Maltus. Yeah, you're right. But for me, I've just got to spend some time with it. Whether it's just an age thing now, and my memory has just got really bad. And if I don't do something for a while, I forget how to use it. So it's practice. So anyway, this MIDI play thing, I've got to understand how this is working, because, and I'm sure it's just me, music theory and the lack of it, that sort of thing. So this is just playing the G sharp 3 at the minute, and if I select some notes above that, let's say, yeah, actually that worked, didn't it? Okay, so it's just come up with a sequence and then just try the MIDI play, and just see what happens with the notes that it selects. That's not bad. Oh, yeah, Mark. Nearly But I've only got 20 minutes to go. Yeah, so having arrived at this much simpler sequence, which is just a range of root notes and the odd octave up and down, and then using MIDI play, so yeah, interesting. And do you know what though? I mean, what you got to remember with me as well and my music is, this is probably over the top for what I need now. Because I don't do, at the moment, I don't really do songs with some sort of a structure, you know, so many bars of this and then so many bars of that, you know, 12 bar blues or whatever you want to call it, middle eights and all the rest of it. I just don't, all my music is mainly just drones with developing sequences. So yeah, I need to work out how I can use this to the best effect for me and the style of music that I'm doing at the moment. But it does, you know, in the right hands, I can see this being a great live tool. And shock horror, people using software for live, but it's a thing, you know, and providing you don't lose your you know, your computer for a couple of hours, you know, just before you set and your computer breaks something, then yeah, use software as well as your hardware. So yeah, interesting. So if I go, yeah, I didn't. Yeah. You see, a slightly different sequence, and for me, dropping down a semitone just sounds naff. So it all depends on oh, hello Mateza, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Nearly finished, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not doing a long one today, just doing a short 2-hour one. Yeah, so MIDI play for me is only going to work with specific styles of pattern, very simple patterns. So like this one here, this one works a little bit better with the and you could hit MIDI latch if you wanted to, I guess. MIDI latch, go to 1. So that means I can just hit a note, go and do something else, come back, change that again. Okay, mate. Yeah, cheers, Klaus M, for tuning in, as I said earlier, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Just thinking what to press next. Actually, that's one thing that I've not explained, because I've not there's loads of stuff I've not explained. But when you use the MIDI play to transpose, that's what these, let's go back to that one. When it transposes, let's just come back to the beginning. It transposes within the scale that you've chosen. So it will use whatever notes. I think you can. Oh, wait a minute. No, yeah. Let's have a look at chromatic. So I'll hit just any old note for now. So let's say, what note's outside of the key? So let's just say an A. See what this does. Okay, so that is clearly not playing notes in key, right? Then you've got ignore off scale. So what this does, so if I hit, I'm on the root now, G#3. If I hit A, so it's now totally ignoring my input. So I've got to hit a note that's within the key. Yeah. And then the to nearest option. If I hit a note that's out of key, it goes to the nearest up, I think. Oh, nearest down, sorry, tell a lie, nearest down. So I'm hitting A now, and it just leaves the G#3 playing because it's hitting the nearest down. If I hit C, which is out of key, it should then hit a B. So I've just hit C, or press C. But if I press B, yeah. So it's the nearest down. So whether I press C or B, it's the same. So a bit idiot proof for people like me, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let's select so all I did there was I changed the MIDI channel of my controller and then changed the pattern of the other stepic instance. And the actual sound design is a bit naff at the minute. It's I'll just reduce the cut-off frequency. And in fact, I might have. Let's have a look at velocity. Oh, the velocity is probably a little bit too. I've got it randomly stepping through 8 different velocity settings for this particular pattern. Yeah. So that kind of works, I guess. I've got MIDI play on this. Yeah. So theoretically. So I'm just pressing I'm transposing the second sequence down half a step. That's quite pleasant, isn't it? I've took an hour and 50 minutes to get here. So that's an idea, perhaps, for the future. Let's bring back up that filter cutoff. I need to find a better sound for this second sequence, because I would like this to be a project going forwards, as I say. It's just not gone quite how I thought. Yeah, thank you very much, Mibelux, for sticking the distance, mate. I do appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you again. I need to make sure that I'm pretty sure I've subbed to you, but I can't remember. I'll have to have a look later. Yeah, so yeah. So that'd probably work. And the sad thing is, again today, I had all these big ideas that I would be doing this, that, and the other. Everything's turned on, blah de blah, on this side, and I have not used a single thing for the full 2 hours. That is really sad. Oh, Darren Tia. Sorry, Darren, I didn't see you there. That's weird. That I don't think it could come in the chat straight away. But yeah, Darren, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm afraid you've not missed much. It's just been me fumbling around using Stepic, which is a software sequence. I don't know whether you do much software, Darren. You're mostly hardware, aren't you? I think. Yeah. So none of that's been used today. That is so sad. What I meant to do with the modular was get a bit of a drone going, and probably another sequence with the West Pest, but it's just not happened, and I've run out of time. Yeah, not enough hours in the stream. I could do this for. Well, I mean, last weekend it was 4 hours. I could do this all day. But I can't. You can't. Other things need doing. Got to feed the cat. Got to put some shelves up. In and out the box. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. I mean, at the end of the day, use whatever's to hand, really. That's the main motto, isn't it, I think, for this sort of thing. So this is about as live as it's going to get. I need a keyboard cam so you can see what I'm hitting. I could use these as MIDI input devices. Certainly this one, but I need to look at the settings, turn local off. So if any of you have got MIDI gear, you'll know what I mean about local off. Basically it turns your keyboard MIDI off internally. So when you play a note on here, it doesn't play your synth. It sends MIDI out. It's got to go through your DAW, come back out, and then play the notes on your synth or whatever. And so you could use that keyboard to play that or that or that or the Nova, whatever. So yeah. Hey, it's my idea. Yeah, whether this goes anywhere or not, mate, I just don't know. It's not. It's better than it was about half an hour ago. It was terrible. I need to just strip these patterns back. Let me just save this project as well before I forget. I like that. I do like that particular part of the MIDI play. So yeah, I don't know whether you've seen this, Darren. It's about 40 quid, something like that. I can't remember, 40, 50 quid. Software sequencer called Stepic. It's a handy piece of kit. And it's not just for controlling your software. You can use it as I'm playing now. I mean, this sequence is now playing my Novation Nova, which is that's the Novation Nova. Yeah, I'd be lost without sequences because I'm crap nowadays. I'd rather just let the sequencer do it, especially random stuff. Anyway, where are we? 11:58. What should we do for the last minute? Nothing. Got my heavy metal t-shirt on today. Heavy metal. Yeah. Okay. Time to feed my lad's cat. Thank you very much to everyone that's turned up today. Really appreciate it. Apologies to anybody who gets this far thinking that they're going to learn something and they didn't. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, okay, cheers. Yeah, I'll try to catch the Ramsey show, but I've got things to do. I've got to go and feed the cat, and I've got to put some shelves up for my wife in a little craft room. So if I don't make Ramsey, it will be in the pub later on. So yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Come again. Hit the like button. Subscribe. And all the other crap. Oops, press flipping play by mistake. Yeah, shut up, you. Yeah, cheers, Dan. Cheers, Davy, Darren, Keith, Klaus, Mibelux, sorry. Oh, God, too many. It's Dave, Icing. Yeah, Chris, Rich, he'll be watching the Formula One now. Amazing. Oh, Martin as well. Martin did pop in as well. Yeah. Okay. Just going through the list of going through the chats. Definitely going right now. End broadcast.